All right, now let's talk about telecoms. We talked about how Alton says most of those debts have been cleared, 90% or so. So it's good news, and it's a new era. USS is charged directly from your airtime. So we shouldn't hear, this backlog and all. But the other thing is, since that increase of tariffs, a lot of people have been asking, so what are the telecoms doing with that money? What have we seen? Well, Airtel Nigeria is here to tell us their story of how they're handling that money. We have the director of Airtel Business, Ogo Fomata, right here in the studio. Hi, Ogo. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Ini.
Good to have you. So I wanted to say, where is our money? But then... So, I mean, you got the increase, the tariff increase that you asked for, and people are curious. When do we see the improvement in the quality of service that you promised will come alongside that tariff increase?
Okay. Thanks, Ini. I mean, we are currently upgrading our network infrastructure. You talk about improvements. Improvements will come. It's a rollout process, So we're doing a lot of things, and this is why I'm here this morning to share, with our customers, with Nigerians, what we're doing in terms of the upgrading of our infrastructure. And we're doing it in a lot of ways. We're doing site upgrades. And when I say site upgrades, we're upgrading all our sites from 4G from all our sites to 4G, and we're adding more 5G sites. And that is one of the things we're doing because we are talking about coverage. We're also going to expand the capacity at these sites, so we will deploy more microwave, high-capacity microwave frequencies, and that increases capacity at each of these sites. So just a few of the things we're doing.
So, when you say some of these things, the telecom sector can be really technical. I just wanted to remind you, you're not talking.
Okay.
So a lot of people who are listening just want to know. So I just want to pick up my call and do my transactions and do my calls. So when you talk of all of this, sometimes it's kind of technical. So could you tell us what this really means to the customer in a layman's language?
Okay. So superior technology enables you to get data, quality voice in a more cost-effective manner. So when I say we're upgrading all our sites to ensure that all our sites across Nigeria are 4G, it's to deploy that superior technology. And of course, some sites, we would put 5G rollout as well. Now, okay, let's bring it down. I want to do what you've asked. When we talk about, oh, is the speed good? This will make your speed good. This will make your service available. This will improve the access that you have to the network. And, there's some applications that need less lag. We would provide that with these upgrades.
So that's why we hear Airtel is doubling investment, bringing in equipment. So this is what you have been using our money for.
Precisely, Ini. And, doubling investment is not just about infrastructure. It's about stitching together that ecosystem that enables the digital future of Nigerians.
And I know you mentioned expansion, because we keep talking about financial inclusion, but a lot of people still say how you can go to some areas in the country and you cannot use some networks.
So this expansion is part of that process to enable us have more sites. Now, having more sites means better access. Having more sites means there will be network availability. Now, we're also deploying more fiber kilometers. We're fixing damaged fiber and we're deploying more. Now, what that does is it increases the capacity at each site. So again, sometimes there is no network, maybe because of congestion. We're going to reduce that when we add more sites.
So you also have the issue about data centers and data coverage. Is that part of what the sites will be giving?
So yes, the sites would give us more data, access to more data, better quality voice. Now, when we talk about data centers is, this data that we're putting in more sites needs somewhere to process them. People talk about AI. You need somewhere to process the data and the compute power required for all of these data that we're processing. And that's why we're putting in data centers.
And you promised us cost-effective service. You did mention that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And when you use a superior technology, things are cheaper. It may not seem like that, but the fact is, this deployment, this investment is a lot. But because the technology is more advanced, it's somewhat more cheap. It's cheaper, and therefore...
Is it because of the quantity, the numbers bring down the...
Yes. So that expansion increases the data that is available. For instance, we're just talking data, yes? It increases the data that is available at a site, which means more people can use it, and therefore the unitary economics is much better.
And also innovative customer-focused solutions. Any new innovation, or is it just a normal call and send messages and all?
No, so we recently launched the Spam AI Alert. And I think that you don't even need to do anything if you're on the Airtel network for it to block spam messages. And that's some new innovation that we've just launched recently. And people already see that they're getting less spam messages. And you know how you and I may say, oh, well, I don't really need it because I don't click anything. But everybody is not at the same level of understanding. So there is that measure of trust that if something comes into my phone, I'll click on it.
Would that be for the message, a mail, or the...
It's for SMS, the Spam AI Alert. And we've also deployed a new network tool. So you talked about innovation. So this new network tool enables us to see the pockets where service is not so good, and then we can provide service there.
And talking about the expansion going to the rural areas, I think some telecoms are now doing things in our local languages as a way of financial inclusion.
Yes, yes, and as a way of also communicating, to our customers, speaking the language that our customers understand. And when you talk about rural areas, it's something that is near and dear to our heart because today we cover about 85% of the population. So this investment is also to expand coverage to the other 15%. And the rural areas, we have recently launched, we announced a partnership with Starlink. Starlink is low Earth orbit, and I'm sure you know. We also have partnership with OneWeb. So these are satellite service providers that we will partner with to provide service in the rural areas. This is, of course, beyond the sites that we're expanding, beyond the fiber that we're expanding as well.
So do we have a timeline to when customers can say, oh yeah, Airtel, your network is now better because of these promises that you have made?
You should have started seeing that already. I mean, we made these promises, I think, 18 months ago. And yes, we recently got the tariff adjustment. And we have started...
hike with adjustment. That's so nice.
Thanks for noticing that. Because indeed, it is an adjustment. But we have started. And that's at the center of what we do to provide service that is accessible, that is affordable to Nigerians.
And innovative products.
Yes.
That are customer focused.
Yes, yes.
So I attended the forum where Airtel and all the other major telecoms attended, and this issue of the price adjustment, the conversation there was, it's a regulated sector. Why do we have to go through all the drama? I wonder if that conversation is still holding.
It is still holding, and the good thing is that our regulator is close to us. We're close to our regulator. We have various touch points. We have to hold these conversations. Regulation, yes, is good, it's necessary, but we also need to take the economic realities into consideration.
Yeah, and then balance it out with the customers'
Oh, yes, definitely. And then one of the things that we're also doing is a self-service platform that enables our customers pick and choose the service bundles that they want, because we're all at different levels of, economics. So if you want different services, you can get them even without calling anybody, just by going to our self-service apps.
And talking about bundles, do you have any? I know then I was told that you have to maybe bring up a bundle, whatever plan you have, and get approval. I wonder if you have any new ones.
No, so we have approvals from our regulator to do the bundles, but there's something that the regulator did recently, and which was to streamline, the bundles so that it's easy to understand. You can't have 1,000 bundles. Just, create pockets of that so that people can easily understand what bundle they want to purchase, for how long, and for how much.
And for different groups, I know there are some
Yes.
for students,
Yes,
for the
definitely.
informal sector, for the big guys,
Yes.
and all of
It's
that.
still there. It's still there.
Okay, just a little of change because.
Just when you say change, it's more like consolidation of plans and bundles. So whereas you may have had, like I said earlier, 1,000, today you have 7, and it fits the needs of all of the different segments and sectors of the economy.
All right, any final thoughts
No.
for your
Thank
for
you
your
so much.
customers?
Thank you, Ini, for having me and for giving us at Airtel the opportunity to talk about these investments. And the reason why we're doubling it is because we see a future in Nigeria. Nigeria has the largest population in West Africa, and that is something that we are totally into, to ensure that we provide that platform for Nigerians to have a better future. So thank you.
All right, well, it's good to have you, and I'm sure your customers out there are, as you said, already experiencing the investment profits, benefits, but looking forward to more. Thank you so much, Ogo Ofumata, Director, Airtel Business. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ini. Thanks.
All right, now let's take a break. When we come back, of course, we do have other conversations. Please stay with us.